The story kicks off with an unexpected moment that will change everything. Mary, the billionaire's daughter, walks down the hallway to deliver a message to James, the family driver. Her steps are light, humming a little tune, unaware of how this moment will unfold. As she reaches James's room, she opens the door without knocking, and what she sees stops her dead in her tracks. There's James, coming out of the bathroom, only wrapped in a towel. Mary freezes, her hand flying to her mouth in shock. James, equally surprised, scrambles to cover himself, but it's already too late. The damage is done. Mary, though taken aback, isn't entirely innocent in this moment. She sees an opportunity, and without thinking, her thoughts turn dark. Mary, in her mind, knows exactly what she wants. She steps closer to James, her gaze sharp, her intentions hidden behind a cold smile. "I want you," she whispers, sending a shiver down James's spine. But James isn't having it. He's taken aback, trying to brush off her advances. His hands trembling as he pushes her away. He's engaged, he says. He's too young, but Mary is relentless. With an icy determination, she threatens him. "If you don't do what I want, I'll tell my dad you forced me." James's face turns pale. This isn't a situation he can simply walk away from. And as Mary screams, fabricating a story of forced advances, we see how her false accusations spiral out of control. Within minutes, her father, Mr. Richard, bursts in, wild-eyed with fury, only to see his daughter crying and pointing a finger at James. "He did it, Daddy. He tried to hurt me." The air grows thick with tension, and without hearing James's side, Mr. Richard calls the police. The scene is set for a nightmare James never saw coming, one that will destroy his life in a heartbeat. In those few moments, everything changes for James. Publicly humiliated, falsely accused, and dragged into the depths of despair. He can only cry out in disbelief as his life unravels. Meanwhile, Mary watches, the satisfaction of having manipulated her father and the situation clear in her eyes. But what she doesn't know is that her false accusations will set in motion a long and painful path, one that will eventually lead to the ultimate confrontation. The fallout from the false accusation is swift and brutal. James is arrested in front of everyone, his life unraveling in real time as he is dragged away in handcuffs. The world watches, and it doesn't take long for the story to spread like wildfire. The media jumps on the opportunity to tear him apart, broadcasting every detail, every horrifying claim Mary has made. The headline reads, "Billionaire's driver accused of assaulting daughter." And just like that, James's life is shattered. As if that wasn't enough, the one person James thought would stand by him, his fiancée Lucy, walks away. She sees the headlines. She hears the rumors. She believes every word that Mary has spoken. "James," Lucy says, her voice trembling with disbelief, "how could you do this to me? How could you betray me like this?" Her words cut through James like a knife, and just like that, she's gone. The love of his life, the woman he thought he would spend forever with, turns her back on him without even giving him a chance to explain. The pain James feels is unimaginable. Alone in a jail cell, his future uncertain, the walls closing in around him, James realizes just how completely everything has been taken from him. The world sees him as a criminal, a man guilty of something he didn't do. And yet, Mary, with her wealth and her influence, continues to sit at the top, untouched by the chaos she's caused. In prison, James is left to rot. No one believes his side of the story. His family distances themselves, and his friends abandon him, convinced by the false narrative Mary created. Every day, James is left with his thoughts, alone with his pain, his innocence hanging in the balance. Every visit from his mother, every letter from Ella, who still believes in him, is a reminder of just how few people are left on his side. The rest of the world has already moved on, ignoring his cries for justice. As he sits in his cell, the audience feels the weight of his emotional struggle. We empathize with his pain, his frustration, and his longing for the truth to come to light. It's a hopeless situation, and yet, there's a glimmer of hope. We, the viewers, are right there with him, feeling the emotional toll this false accusation has taken on James. We want him to succeed. We want justice. But for now, it seems impossible. 3 years have passed, and James remains behind bars, a man trapped by a lie that has turned his life upside down. The world has largely forgotten about him, the case no longer making headlines, his name tainted beyond repair. But as much as James feels forgotten, one person has never stopped believing in him, Ella. Ella, the one person who has stuck by his side through the darkest of times, refuses to let him be forgotten. She knows James's innocence, and she is determined to make sure the world knows it too. With a fire burning inside her, Ella takes matters into her own hands. She manages to secure a job at Mr. Richards' mansion, the very house where the betrayal began, the house that was supposed to be a symbol of trust, but now feels like a prison in its own right. Ella's plan is simple. Get close to the people who can reveal the truth. But she soon realizes that uncovering the truth won't be so easy. Mr. Richards' mansion is a fortress of secrets, and the deeper Ella digs, the more dangerous it becomes. Yet, she's not backing down. She knows that James is innocent, and she will fight with everything she has to clear his name. One day, while cleaning in the mansion, Ella stumbles upon something unexpected: hidden cameras. The house is rigged with a network of surveillance cameras that James never knew existed. Could this be the break she's been waiting for? Her heart races as she realizes that these cameras may have recorded crucial footage. Footage that could clear James's name and expose Mary's lies once and for all. In that moment, a glimmer of hope sparks. The audience feels the tension rise as we witness Ella's determination. We see her move carefully, every action deliberate, every decision weighed. She is now the key to James's freedom, and the stakes have never been higher. Could these cameras hold the evidence needed to change everything? Will Ella be able to navigate this dangerous game and find the proof that James so desperately needs? As the audience, we feel a renewed sense of hope. We know the truth is out there, and Ella is the one person who can help uncover it. But the journey is far from over, and the risks are higher than ever. Still, the possibility of redemption for James feels closer now than it ever has before, and the audience is on the edge of their seats, eager to see what Ella will uncover next. Ella's heart pounds in her chest as she quietly moves through Mr. Richards' mansion. The house feels eerily silent, as if it knows she's about to uncover something that will change everything. With every creaking floorboard beneath her feet, the tension builds. She knows this is her one shot, one chance to retrieve the video that could free James. She's been to this mansion countless times, cleaning, observing, but this time is different. This time, she's not just here to clean. She's here for justice. After what feels like an eternity of searching through Mr. Richards' personal belongings and scouring every inch of the mansion, Ella finally finds what she's been looking for: a file containing the footage from the hidden cameras. Her fingers tremble with anticipation as she opens the video. And then, she sees it. There it is. Mary, the woman who ruined James's life, trying to seduce him. The video shows James recoiling in disgust, rejecting her advances. It's clear as day. James never wanted anything to do with her, and Mary's actions were an act of desperation, an attempt to manipulate and control. Ella's breath catches in her throat as she grabs her phone, quickly recording the evidence. This is it. This is the moment that could end it all for Mary and clear James's name. But just as she's about to leave, she hears footsteps. Panic surges through her, but she doesn't freeze. She knows she must act fast. She tucks the phone into her pocket, moving quickly toward the door. But just as her hand touches the knob, the door swings open. It's the security guards. They found her. Stop right there, one of the guards commands. Ella's heart races, but her resolve is stronger than ever. She can't let this evidence slip through her fingers. She can't let James suffer any longer. She stands her ground, locking eyes with the guards. "Don't you dare touch me," she warns, her voice firm despite the fear bubbling inside her. "I have proof. I have the video. If anything happens to me, this video goes public." Every single person in the world will see what your precious Mary did. The guards hesitate, exchanging uncertain glances. They know the gravity of the situation. If the footage gets out, their employer Mary's father, Mr. Richard, will be in deep trouble. But Mary isn't giving up that easily. Just as Ella's about to make her move, Mary bursts into the room, her heels clicking loudly on the marble floor. She's furious, her eyes flashing with panic and anger. "What are you doing in my father's room?" she hisses, her voice dripping with venom. Ella stands tall, her voice unwavering. "I'm here to expose the truth, Mary. You've lied about James for too long, and now I have the proof." Ella pulls out her phone, the video of Mary's failed seduction attempt clearly visible on the screen. Mary's face turns as white as a ghost. Her confidence shatters, replaced by fear. You have the video?" she whispers, her voice trembling. Ella doesn't hesitate. "And if you don't let me go right now, I'll upload it to the entire world." She raises her phone, her finger poised to hit send. Mary's eyes narrow with desperation. "What do you want?" she demands, her voice quivering. "I want $2 million, Ella replies coldly. "Or this video goes live, and your life as you know it is over." Mary scoffs, anger flaring in her eyes. "That's ridiculous," she shouts, but Ella stands firm. "Take it or leave it," Ella retorts, her voice calm but assertive. "The choice is yours." Mary paces frantically, her mind racing. "Fine, I'll call my dad. But you're not getting away with this." Ella nods, her grip tightening around her phone. "You have 5 minutes to make the call. And if anything goes wrong, I'll release the video. It's that simple." Mary pulls out her phone, her hand shaking as she dials her father. The seconds stretch into eternity as Ella watches her every move, prepared to act at a moment's notice. But as Mary speaks to her father, Ella's instincts tell her that things are about to take a dangerous turn. Before Mary can finish the call, a security guard lunges at Ella, knocking the phone out of her hand. Crashes to the floor, the screen shattering on impact. Ella gasps, reaching for the phone, but the guards are already closing in. They drag her roughly toward the chair, tying her hands and feet with thick, unforgiving rope. Mary stands in front of her, arms crossed, her smug smile returning. "What now, little maid?" she taunts, her voice full of superiority. "Did you really think you could win against me? You're nothing." Ella, despite the pain from the ropes digging into her skin, smirks. "You think I'm a fool, Mary?" she says, her voice steady and full of determination. "You just don't get it. You might have destroyed everything in your life, but not in mine. And I've still got one last trick up my sleeve." Just as Ella finishes speaking, the shrill sound of police sirens blares through the house. Mary freezes, her eyes wide with shock. "No," she whispers under her breath. "This can't be happening." The front door bursts open, and police officers rush inside. "Freeze! Everyone, hands up!" they shout, filling the mansion with chaos. The guards freeze, their weapons still raised. Mary stumbles backward, her face pale. "This can't be happening," she exclaims, but it's too late. The officers move in quickly, arresting the guards one by one. Mr. Richard, who had been stumbling around in a drunken stupor, is dragged out of the room, his confusion evident. Ella, now free from the ropes, stands tall as the officers retrieve the vital footage from the computer. This is it. The truth is coming to light. The entire web of lies that Mary and her father created is finally unraveling, and justice is within reach. Ella has done it. She's brought down the people who tried to ruin James's life and destroyed his future. She's fought for the truth, and in this powerful moment, the stakes are finally in her favor. As Ella watches the officers escort Mary and her father away in handcuffs, she allows herself a small smile. It's over. The lies have been exposed, and James's innocence has been proven. The fight for justice is over, and the truth has prevailed. The courtroom is filled with tension as the judge reviews the evidence, his face a mask of concentration. It's been a long, arduous battle, but the truth is finally out in the open. Mary and her father, Mr. Richard, have been arrested, and their web of lies has been unraveled. Ella's perseverance, her determination to right the wrongs done to James, has paid off. The footage, the secret cameras, the carefully gathered evidence, all of it has come together to expose the truth. The judge's gavel comes down with a resounding thud, and the room falls silent. The words that follow echo through the space. James Wilson is hereby cleared of all charges. The accusations made against him were false, and he is innocent of the crimes he was accused of. The weight that's been hanging over James for the past 3 years finally lifts. His body relaxes as the courtroom bursts into a mix of whispers and murmurs and sighs of relief. But even as the truth is acknowledged, a sense of emptiness lingers. The damage has already been done. His life, his reputation, and his future have all been scarred by the false accusations. As James steps out of the courthouse, he's met with the flashing cameras and reporters who had once eagerly reported on his disgrace. This time, however, the narrative is different. The headlines are now filled with his exoneration, but the past 3 years still feel like a dark shadow hanging over him. Lucy, his ex-fiancée, walks toward him cautiously, her face a mixture of regret and uncertainty. James, she begins softly, her voice shaking with emotion. I should have believed you. I was wrong to leave you. She pulls a small velvet box from her purse and opens it, revealing a sparkling engagement ring. I want to start over, she says, her eyes searching his face for some sign that he'll take her back. James looks at her, his heart heavy with a mixture of pain and sadness. Lucy, do you remember what you did to me when I needed you the most? He asks quietly. You left me when the whole world turned its back on me. You left me broken. His voice falters for a moment, but he steadies himself. I'm sorry, but it's too late. Lucy's face falls, the tears she's been holding back finally spilling over. James, please, she whispers, her voice pleading. I'll do anything to make it right. Please, I'm sorry. James shakes his head slowly. Someone else has already been there for me, Lucy. Someone who stood by me when I had nothing. He turns to the doorway, calling out softly, Ella, can you come here for a moment? Ella enters the room, her eyes sparkling with the love and support she's always offered James. She steps beside him, a small diamond ring gleaming on her finger, the same one James had once given Lucy. This is the woman who stood by me when no one else would, James says with a firm voice, holding Ella's hand. This is my future, Ella. Lucy stands there in stunned silence, her heart breaking as she realizes that the life she once imagined with James is now a thing of the past. You're with her? She asks, her voice shaking with disbelief. James nods. Yes, Lucy, I am, and I'm not going back to the past. His eyes meet hers one final time, and with that, he turns his back on her, his future now firmly in his hands. Ella smiles softly, her heart swelling with love for James as they walk away from the past together. It's been a long road to redemption, but they've come out stronger on the other side. Meanwhile, Mary and her father are facing the consequences of their actions. They are both sentenced to prison for their roles in the false accusations and the damage they caused to James's life. Their wealth and influence couldn't save them from the truth, and as they are escorted out of the courtroom in handcuffs, the finality of it all sinks in. In the weeks that follow, James starts to rebuild his life. With Ella by his side, he moves into a new home, leaving behind the pain and betrayal of the past. His future is full of promise and new beginnings. The love and support he has now, from Ella and his loyal friends, gives him the strength to move forward and build a life he can be proud of. The story ends with James and Ella standing on the balcony of their new home, gazing at the horizon. They are surrounded by love, and as they look toward the future, there's a sense of peace and hope that fills the air. The darkness of the past is behind them, and their journey together has just begun. With the strength they've gained from the trials they've faced, they know that whatever comes next, they'll face it together. The story closes with a message of resilience, hope, and the power of truth. James and Ella have proven that love and justice always prevail in the end. If you enjoyed this heartfelt story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing tales. Your support keeps us going.